Right now, the Madison School District Superintendent speaks out about a deadly crash that took the life of a student. We also have an update on the investigation from police.
And I'm tracking temperatures that look almost late March-like. And do we have any thunder in the forecast? I'll explain in a little bit.
And later, Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett running for re-election, how he plans to address some of the core issues he believes are causing crime in Dane County. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. We begin with a developing story out of the village of Oregon, where police are investigating two separate cases of inappropriate behavior between a faculty member and a student.
In the first case, the Oregon School District was made aware of a suspected inappropriate relationship between a faculty member and a student on November 3rd of last year. Now, the district conducted its own investigation, and the case was not reported to police until January 12th. Police have since started their own investigation.
And as for the second case, on February 3rd, Oregon police were notified by Child Protective Services of allegations involving a high school faculty member having physical contact with a student that made that student feel uncomfortable. This case is also currently under investigation, and they want to make it clear these are two separate cases that involve two different students and two different faculty members. And now to continuing coverage of a string of break-ins in Dane County. The sheriff's office has arrested a man in connection with these crimes.
It started on Trail Ridge Court in the town of Oregon about 3:40 this morning when a woman called to report two people walking around her SUV before deputies could arrive. The suspects stole that vehicle.
And deputies later found the SUV along with another stolen vehicle and began a chase. Road spikes had to be used in order to stop both vehicles. According to the sheriff's office, a 20-year-old man ran from that stolen SUV but was caught by a Madison canine. While running, he dropped a backpack with items that belonged to recent theft victims around Cambridge, as well as a stolen gun. The other stolen vehicle was reportedly found on Ahwahnee Court.
Meanwhile, the other stolen vehicle was found, that's in the town of Oregon, and the suspect faces several charges. Investigators believe he did not work alone during the Cambridge break-ins. Anyone with information about the crimes is asked to call Crime Stoppers.
And Madison police are looking for a suspect who allegedly stabbed their roommate last week. According to the victim, the incident took place at a home near the intersection of Oriole Lane and Bunting Lane on the northeast side. The suspect reportedly owed the victim money and became upset when the victim asked when they would be paid. The suspect was gone before officers arrived. A knife was recovered at the scene, and the victim's injuries are considered not life-threatening. Please call Crime Stoppers if you have any information. And now to continuing coverage of last week's deadly crash on South Park Street that claimed the life of a Madison West High School senior.
And today, the superintendent of the Madison School District is speaking out. Our Tanisha Shaw talked to Dr. Joe Gothard today. Tanisha?
Yes, a driver killed 17-year-old Alexander Rosen, who goes by Sasha, on Thursday. Rosen was on his way to West High School before he died, and today the superintendent of Madison School District says a lot of students live in that same area.
My heart goes out to the Rosen family and West High School community, really all of us.
Dr. Joe Gothard open to change on Madison's South Side after a driver hit and killed a student Thursday. Alexander Rosen, who many know as Sasha, was walking to a bus stop on his way to school at Madison West when he was hit near Burr Oak in South Park Street.
The loss of a student on a community is heavy.
The death sparking a response from Madison residents. News 3 Now has talked to the order of the neighborhood and members of the community about the stretch of South Park Street near Burr Oak Road.
Most of us who live in this neighborhood, we know that Park Street could be a dangerous street to cross.
Even though there is a lighted crossing, a lot of people just don't stop. They're unaware of it.
I think it's important right now to understand, to first of all allow for the West community and the Rosen family to mourn. But I do think it's a good opportunity for us to review and look for ways that we can be safer together as well.
Dr. Gothard said he is open to finding ways that Madison School District can make the street safer. A lot of students walk across Park Street to go to school.
On Park Street, you could have children going to La Follette, Memorial, West, all of our schools for that matter. So it's an important transportation hub to make sure that our students can get across the city. So I'll look forward to supporting our teams and having those further discussions with all of our partners.
At this moment, the driver connected to this crash has not been charged. I reached out to the Madison Police Department, and they said they will have more information about a suspect later this week.
All right, Tanisha, thank you. Turning to the weather now, another nice February day with some sun at times. Feels a little more spring-like, Alex. Hopefully a little more of that on the way.
It does. It just dawned on me as we started the newscast, Sarah, that our temperatures as we head out into the future here, average high 29 degrees for this time of year. These mid to upper 40s, that's closer to the average high temperature at the end of March, not the middle of February. And we're going to have a streak of temperatures in the 40s to near 50 degrees. And there is even a little bit of thunder in the forecast as part of this streak of warm weather. Now, temperatures tonight in the 20s, that's still 10 degrees above normal. We'll do 22 in Madison, 24 in Lone Rock, 24 in Baraboo, and 26 in Monroe. Highs as we go into Wednesday. Just a touch cooler than what we saw today. We'll be in the mid to upper 30s. Still a sprinkling of 40s near the Wisconsin-Illinois border and areas over towards the Mississippi River, over towards Prairie du Chien and over towards Platteville. We'll have partly cloudy skies, but even just a couple degrees cooler than what we experienced today is still above normal for this time of year. Still at 36 in Madison, 35 in the Dalles, 32 in Viroqua, 36 in Janesville, and 35 in Platteville. Here in Dane County, we've got the 35s and the 36s. Madison, I-39 in areas to the east, and then we have the 37s and 36s as well to the west as you go down Highway 14 out towards Cross Plains. Planning our night and planning your Wednesday. Partly cloudy skies breaking into some sunshine as you go into the afternoon. Yeah, just a touch cooler, but still above normal for this time of year. Now, when I come back, I'm excited to talk more about this warm trend for southern Wisconsin. I'll let you know how warm it will be trend-wise, meaning this above average temperatures that we're seeing. Is it just Wisconsin? Is it much of the country? How much longer it's going to last? And more about the potential to hear a rumble or two of thunder. That's in our forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Alex. FEMA is denying the state's appeal for federal disaster relief for last summer's historic flooding in Wisconsin. Communities were left with millions of dollars in damages. FEMA previously approved disaster relief for individual applicants and housing, but they denied the state's request for public assistance for Door, Grant, Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Washington, and Waukesha counties. Governor Evers then appealed the decision in November, but yesterday he announced it was denied. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos told reporters today that he's open to seeing if there's something that the state can do, but ultimately it is the federal government's responsibility.
I'm disappointed that the federal government did not continue to do what it does in many places across the country, and that is when you have a catastrophic event, the federal government steps in to help. So hopefully there will be a second look, and perhaps the federal government will continue to look at this and perhaps provide some funding.
Governor Evers is renewing his call for the Trump administration to appeal the decision, saying, quote, "We will continue to advocate to the Trump administration and our federal partners that Wisconsin needs these resources to rebuild and recover, and will continue to do what we can to support our local partners however we can in the meantime."
Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett says he plans to run for re-election this year. Barrett, elected sheriff in 2022 after being appointed by Governor Evers. He is the first African-American to hold that position. A primary election will take place August 11th. The general election will then be held on November 3rd. And Sheriff Barrett hopes in a second term he can address what he believes are the core issues behind Dane County crime.
News 3 Now's Jalen Banks sat down with the sheriff and has more.
Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett will seek re-election for a second full term this November. Back in 2021, Governor Tony Evers appointed Barrett to lead the department after then-Sheriff David Mahoney retired. This would be a milestone for the Dane County Sheriff's Office by making Barrett the first African-American sheriff in the department's history. Barrett will go on to win the election in 2022. During his time as sheriff, the county would see year-over-year declines in both violent and property crimes. However, as of 2024, larceny theft crime rates in Dane County remain well over the state average. In a sit-down with News 3 Now, Sheriff Barrett would go on to talk about why he's seeking re-election and how he plans to address trust between law enforcement and Dane County residents.
It starts with communication, cooperation, and collaboration with our community members here. We need to be transparent and open and have great lines of communication, no matter what the circumstance is. By establishing the relationships when there isn't a time of crisis, that helps when the crisis does come.
If re-elected, Sheriff Barrett says he plans to address staffing by hiring 50 more deputies, as well as make efforts towards something he believes causes the most crime.
We have to continue to focus on the root cause of crime, which is why individuals individuals are continuing to return back to our jail system in the first place. And to do that, we have to have appropriate programmings and a facility that helps support rehabilitation.
Jalen Banks reporting. Coming up next, Wisconsin's version of C-SPAN gets a boost in funding.
Plus, Wisconsin's Native American tribes address lawmakers at the Capitol today. We take a look at some of the topics they discussed.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Today, Wisconsin's tribal nations gathered at the Capitol to tout 2025's achievements and call for additional resources.
Our political reporter, Ellie LaLiberte, was at the State of the Tribes address, and she has more on the tribe's efforts, urging lawmakers to pass an online sports betting bill. Ellie?
Eric, today's keynote speaker said Wisconsin is missing out on money because many Wisconsinites are already illegally online sports betting. Now, in the fall, lawmakers introduced a bill that would give tribal casinos the ability to own and operate sports betting online if it's run from their physical location. Right now, Wisconsin's constitution prohibits most forms of gambling, meaning Wisconsin's tribal nations operate the bulk of betting services. Today's speaker also noted the impact gaming revenue has on tribes.
Gaming revenue helps ensure that mothers and babies have access to health care and healthy food, that our elders can receive care, that families have housing, that our roads are plowed, and that law enforcement and fire departments are able to serve us.
The online sports betting bill quickly moved through the legislature in the fall, but was pulled from the calendar for a vote back in November. Assembly Republicans told reporters today that discussions are ongoing and leadership is hoping to bring the bill to the floor for a vote. Opponents of the bill worry it could lead to a spike in gambling addictions. Now, the tribes also called for legalization of medical marijuana, environmental protections, and increased educational resources. Governor Tony Evers will give his final State of the State address next week.
All right, Ellie, thank you. And also at the Capitol today, a bipartisan bill to help fund Wisconsin's version of C-SPAN passed the Assembly unanimously. Wisconsin Eye went dark back in December due to funding challenges. The bill passed today would put $10 million into an endowment with the interest accrued going to the network. However, the legislation does face an uncertain future in the Senate, where Republicans in that chamber introduced a bill of their own today that would create a, quote, competitive process.
Still ahead tonight, we will tell you the big name band headlining for the AmFam Golf Championship this summer.
Plus, could that Cup of Joe be doing more than just giving you a boost throughout the day? What a new study is showing.
And is there any chance of rain or snow in our future? Alex returns with a complete look at our forecast when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Moving forward.
You are taking a live look at the Beltline near Monona Drive, where we may usually this time of year be seeing snow, but the snow is melting and continuing to with the warmer temps. And Alex, how long do you see these temperatures lasting?
It's going to stick around for the next 10 days. All temperatures over the next 10 days are going to be above normal, as we mentioned at the beginning of the newscast. And then also a little bit a while ago when I was giving my first weather, as we call it, these temperatures over the next 10 days, Friday lasting clear out into next week, those temperatures are going to be what we would normally see at the end of March. So we're seeing end of March, we're seeing early spring-like temperatures in the middle and leaning towards the end of February. That's what we have. That's what we've got in our forecast here for the next 10 days as our main weather story here. But I also want to make note here as we start to march out with temperatures well into the 40s, pushing 50 degrees on some days, that we need to keep an eye on the ice thickness on our Madison lakes. Now, we just had festivities out on Lake Mendota as an example that last weekend, where we had reports that the ice thickness was around 12 inches. As we march out into this warm period, we're going to need to keep a very close eye on that, because that ice is going to start to erode a little bit day after day with temperatures well into the 40s to near 50, especially when you see this in the three things that you need to know. Staying above normal Wednesday, get ready for 40s to near 50 this weekend. Could we have a storm? I mean, a thunderstorm as we head on into next week. There's a distinct possibility of that. Now, temperatures tonight getting back below freezing, down into 20s. But take note, if you look just up there, it says plan your night. Average low, 13. We're not down at 13. We're well into the 20s. So staying very mild, very warm for this time of year. And high temperatures tomorrow, mid to upper 30s to right around 40 near the Mississippi River. These temperatures are around 5 to 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. And as you just saw, that's sticking around for a long period of time. Now, Sarah, before the commercial break, was asking, do we have any rain, do we have any snow in the forecast? And we do, just a tiny chance. Well, let's eye that up here on Future Track. As we go into Thursday, a chance of a few raindrops, a few snowflakes in far southwest Wisconsin, then that slips underneath us. That's it. That would be during the morning and early afternoon hours on Thursday. A little bit more in the way of cloud cover on Thursday. Otherwise, then the temperatures, they go right up into the 40s. Valentine's Day, upper 40s. There will likely be local areas Saturday, Sunday, going into Monday and Tuesday, where we do crack the 50-degree mark, and we're going for a high of 50 next Thursday, provided we're on the warm side of a weather system, and I'm expecting 2 weather systems next week, Wednesday through Friday, so better chances as we look at our bottom line over the next 10 days of tracking the weather, better chances for us seeing precipitation in the form of rain, very likely as we head from Wednesday going into Friday of next week as temperatures stay near or above average. No alert days, but we're going to keep a close eye on those weather systems Wednesday, Thursday, going on into Friday, as there will be an impact in the Midwest. Those fine details are still going to be ironed out, but we're keeping a close eye. Just want you to be first to know. Could be active mid to late next week.
All right, Alex, thank you. Country music band Little Big Town is headlining this year's American Family Insurance Golf Championship concert. The Nashville-based group won their first Grammy back in 2013 for Best Country Duo Group Performance for their hit Pontoon. They're also known for other hits like Boondocks, Better Man, and Girl Crush. Tickets for the June 5th concert will go on sale this Saturday at 10 in the morning. They'll range from $40 to $200. The American Family Insurance Championship runs June 5th through the 7th.
That daily cup of coffee could be doing more than just giving you a jolt for the day. It could also be protecting your brain from dementia. New research shows drinking caffeinated coffee or tea daily is associated with better long-term cognitive health. According to the study, those who enjoyed 2 to 3 cups of coffee or 1 or 2 cups of tea a day saw the biggest impact, with midlife coffee drinkers seeing about an 18% lower chance of developing dementia later in life, and 14% of tea drinkers seeing the lower risk. Bad news, though, for those of you who prefer the decaf stuff, researchers did not see the same benefits in people who chose that option. This is really great news for me.
Yeah, it is. Andrew's here with a look at sports.
Yeah, you're going to need a whole lot of coffee to get you through a later night in Champaign, a top 10 showdown, or at least Illinois is in the top 10, as Bucky looks to get back on track on the basketball court. Plus, just how much is at stake tonight? Next on News 3 Now.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
After starting their season strong, Love Madison hasn't been loving life lately. Our pro volleyball team has lost 6 straight, sinking to the bottom of the standings. Breaking that streak now isn't necessarily what their head coach tells me is their mindset. He says it's just like in life when you kind of run into a rut. You can't just say, all right, I'm going to win. No, it's taking the next right action day by day.
That's what you do when you're winning or losing, right? Doesn't matter. Every day you got to come to that gym and get better. The only difference is sometimes when we're losing, we get a little bit more focus. It's not the best way to play, but sometimes. And right now we had a great practice today. We have that focus. And we just got to get better. You know, it's not about winning the next match. It's about winning this day. If we keep winning every day and stacking those good days together, the results will come.
I'll have much more on Matt on Thursday. I sat down with him and his daughter, who you may know, Wisconsin volleyball superstar Charlie Furbringer, who calls her dad her best friend. If you ask me, the best part about hockey is the lingo that the players use. Between lighting the lamp and deeks and dangles, they basically have their own language. So on this week's Huddle on 3, I asked the Badgers, what's your favorite hockey slang?
Oh, man. We'll go biscuit for puck. We'll go biscuit.
And why biscuit?
Just biscuit in the basket sounds nice once you score a goal.
Probably celly. I don't know. I feel like that's a good one after you score. Just a celebration, like throw your hands up in the air or something.
Probably just say chirp.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of guys do it. We do it to each other, so talking trash pretty much.
And who is the best trash talker on your team?
Without me in the question, I'd probably say Adam Patilla, too.
You're right up there?
I'd say we go head and head, yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot more where that came from on this week's Wisconsin Huddle, where I sit down with the captain of the Wisconsin men's hockey team, Ben Dexheimer. The argument could be made that no team has a bigger road win on their resume than Wisconsin does in the world of college basketball back when they beat Michigan in Ann Arbor. The argument could also be made that they desperately need another impressive win, and this week they'll have the chance to do that twice. Tonight they go to 8th-ranked Illinois, and on Friday they host number 10 Michigan State. A big week for the Badgers.
All right, Andrew. And coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10, a 2025 housing snapshot report shows home ownership costs in Madison are rising faster than incomes, making it difficult for residents to become first-time home buyers. News 3 Now's Maren Rosen shows us how the Urban League of Greater Madison is providing resources and education to guide potential home buyers through their first home buying journey. Again, that's tonight at 10.
We've got to check on our forecast. It just keeps getting better.
Keeps getting better. 40s to near 50 degrees all the way through the 10-day forecast tonight at 10. How long will this above normal weather pattern last temperature-wise further into February? I'll let you know tonight at 10.
All right, Alex, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6. Entertainment Tonight is coming up next.
And our next show is at 10 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.